Hello everyone, welcome to Autocast. I am so excited to be back, and as you know, we are continuing with our series of episodes with specialists in automotive field, because Autocast is all about automotive and talking about automotive. So we have a unique guest again joining us today who specializes in various fields in automotive. I have huge admiration for him. I have worked with him for so many years, and I will hand it over to Dhanesh to have a quick introduction about yourself.
Thank you, Muni, for having me here. It's my pleasure. And firstly, I want to congratulate you for the Autocast. I think a lot of happening in the automotive industry, and it's a great platform for the viewers and the audience to know about what is happening in the automotive. I think that's so I want to congratulate first before I talk about myself.
No, thank you, Dhanesh, for that. I think that was the whole philosophy or the DNA of Autocast, because we wanted people who are expert in this field to talk about their specialization. So thanks for your good words. So I mean, a quick introduction about yourself, who you are, where you're coming from. Yeah.
So for your audience, I'm currently working as a general manager after sales for multi-Chinese brands. Maybe it's a surprise for many of the audience that I am a chartered accountant. So typically, chartered accountants, people expect to be in the finance field, but I'm the after sales general manager from last 15-17 years now, almost, kind of things. So the as usual chartered accountant, but I think somehow it was destiny kind of from automotive, because when I was in the CA and doing my intern, majority of my time is spent into the MRF. I mean, the MRF is the leading tire manufacturer in India. So I was doing the automotive audits over there, and that's where I think the bit of connection started with the automotive. And then I shifted after my completing the CA, started into finance automotive. That's where I gained the first-hand experience of the business automotive, how it works. I was fortunate. I was working in Alganium, where the finance play a key business partner role.
Absolutely.
And works closely with the operations.
That's correct, because in our company, finance is like a business partner.
Correct. Absolutely. I think that's allow me actually to understand the business very closely. But one thing which I was always feeling in my side is the execution part, correct? Because in the finance, you might give 10 great ideas, but there's no point if you cannot execute also. Over the period, I was realizing that even a simple idea is better if it is executed properly than having 10 great ideas on the paper.
Absolutely.
And that was initially at the beginning of my career, I started realizing that I have to shift the table and go to the operation side where the real things happening. And that's where I pushed it, and I started my journey into the operations.
It's interesting. I just said I'm going to talk about automotive, but let's pause here for a few minutes, because I think both of us share pretty similar journeys, right?
Absolutely.
Ex-finance, moving into business. So we'll talk about automotive shortly, but I actually would now use to put in some of my emotions. That how do you feel when people label you as a finance guy and when you are in operations? Because normally it comes from a very negative perception.
You are absolutely right, actually, because people have a mindset that finance is always talk about the negative side, like they talk about the how to cost optimization, or they will try to save the money, or they will push the agenda behind it. But to be frank, that's the only one side of the finance, and it's not from a negative perspective. When they try to do these things, they are doing for the better. They were trying to make you cautious about it, correct? So I was lucky that I'm come from the finance background, but I always think into the positive side, correct? How do I make any decision which is informed decision rather than a perception decision, correct? So sometimes you try to impulse when you see something wrong, one instance, and then you try to change the entire process.
Correct.
But that may be one single instance, correct? But when you try to pull up all the data, and then you find that that is maybe 0.05% of the instance, correct? Exactly. And you don't need to change anything on that, correct? So that's help you when you come from a finance background.
And I think also on the similar token, we're coming from finance into business, it really speeds up our decision making process.
I absolutely agree.
No wastage in meetings and having protocols and bureaucracies, right? You can take faster decisions.
I mean, to be frank, Munib, many of the executive at the age of 50, they realize the importance of finance, and that's why they do the course of non-finance to finance, actually, correct? And that's the most popular course globally, correct? So if the finances was not important, then what was the need of
such courses and executive MBAs?
Correct, exactly. So I think, and especially when you become a large scale organization part, then everything is a data driven, correct? You have to interpret those data very fastly. You have to absorb the decision making. And the things in the recently, I mean the last 4 or 5 years, things are no more like I mean, I would say the things are getting to 1x, 2x to 10x. The speed is very fast.
Correct.
So you have to grab the numbers, make your decision informed, and that's helped me a lot actually. To be frank, I'm blessed that I learn the finance and then I get into the operation.
Same here, I guess. Yeah.
That's give me the edges advantage.
I think both of us have done a great justice to all those consultants who want to give finance for non-finance course, right?
Not only that, and I would pass a message over there. Any finance guy who feel that he can contribute more, and I would encourage them to look into the operation side if they want to shift to the career side actually, because I think they can do a much better justice because they come with the solid backgrounds, how to play the numbers, how to interpret the number, and they can make a very well-formed decisions actually.
Excellent.
So I want people to think about
shift about this career. Excellent. Yeah. So I think, look, that was just a background about this. So now let's get to the heart of Autocast.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. So in your opinion, what's happening in automotive industry, especially in GCC? What are the trends? What is the evolution happening right now?
I think the last 4 or 5 years, the consumer has completely shifted, correct? I mean, if you see before 5 years and before the corona, something like that, consumer was, before buying a car, he will think about the legacy, correct? The brand, he will think about the engine. But I think now the consumer is think about his own experience, correct? What I will get as a product, how I will drive it, correct? It's about the luxury. He want to make comfort, correct? He is looking into the comfort, he's looking into the, so the pattern of buying has completely changed.
Yeah.
And
so are you noticing, or what's your take on this kind of change in Kuwait market as well, because that's what relevant to us right now? Is this similar pattern, or is Kuwait lagging behind? Is it ahead? What's your opinion about that?
No, I think the consumer is the similar mindset across the world. I would say now the consumer market is a global, correct? What consumer think here is exactly thinking into the other part of the world. Example, when the iPhone 17 get launched, it get launched informed at the same time, correct? So I would say the consumer is the same across the world, and it's across the behavior or change is exactly the same. The pattern are the same. I don't think it will any more different from other part.
Okay, so I think within this shift, what do you think is the change in the countries of origin in automotive industry, right? Because legacy brands, right? We always used to think American and Japanese. So is this the same in Kuwait, or what's the difference?
No, I think recently what we are saying from the change, the Chinese, correct? The Chinese have come massively flooded now, if you can see, and they have taken the market share of 30%. I don't think the legacy brand was even prepared for that actually. That the Chinese will take the market share so fast.
Right.
And few days before I was used to think about that the Chinese is coming now to GCC, but it's wrong. Actually, Chinese is growing in the China itself. So if I went to the China last time, when I was talking to the people, their trust was 5 years before was more into the American legacy brands
in China.
In China itself.
Okay.
So the Volkswagen was the market leader, like for a very, very long period of time. Actually, the Toyota is over there. So the Chery, BYD, everything which happened in the last 10 years. And I think it's not because the Chinese coming over there. Probably it is one thing is they are able to address the consumer very well. The speed of innovation in the Chinese is very fast. I think that's why they are able to take the domestic market as well as the international market.
That is amazing. I think that's my personal take on Chinese market itself is like, look, it's unbelievable level of luxury over there. The speed of development they have.
True.
The scale over there is unbelievable. So people have a perception that Chinese are probably dumping in the international market.
Yeah,
they are leading the trend.
They are leading.
That's the.
Like if you compare any legendary brands, correct? The innovation you hardly heard about it, but the Chinese are taking a very much lead into the innovation.
Right? So, they're not so-called quote unquote copycats. They are leading.
No, I think they are the main player now. To be frank, they are not any more secondary actually. If you are occupying the 30% of the market share, they are the leader actually. Probably in the next 2 years, maybe I won't be surprised if they can come to the 40% market shares.
No doubt about it. Look, the speed with which someone asked me last year, what do you think would be the gap of the market share? And my take was like 25%. And I was proven wrong actually, right? How fast it has grown, right?
Correct.
Good.
This is, I think, something new in
this. So this is our section 2 is finished, right? Yeah. Habibullah, section 2 खत्म हो गया.
तो अभी क्या होगा?
कुछ नहीं, हम कट कर लेंगे ना इसका।
अच्छा,
अब हम अगला सेक्शन शुरू कर दें, राइट? तो ये वाला पार्ट हम कट कर लेंगे ना, राइट, बीच में से।
हाँ,
ठीक है
तो
जी।
अभी अपना दूसरा वाला पार्ट
अब हमारा है ईवीज का।
हाँ, EVs का।
ठीक है जी। अब हम इस सेक्शन में हम बात करेंगे ईवीज, REVs एटसेट्रा, राइट?
पहले EVs के बारे में बात
EVs एंड देन व्हाट्स द डिफरेंस एटसेट्रा। ठीक है, चलो मैं आपको आवाज़ दे दूँगा जब से खत्म। सो ओके, लेट्स कंटिन्यू। सो लुक, इट्स इंटरेस्टिंग। नहीं, एक सेकंड पॉज करता हूँ ताकि जब वो आए ना तो कंटिन्यूटी लगे। It's interesting you have mentioned about the transformation role which China is leading. Whenever I think of any EV brand outside China, I can only think of one brand, that's Tesla, right? But when you talk about Chinese brands, like there's a plethora of brands which are leading this transformation. So this brings me to the next topic is, what is your take on the role of EVs in our market where fuel is pretty cheap?
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Actually, the one thing is EV is not just because of the one particular market. I think the sustainability is the core in the EVs behind it.
Yeah.
Correct? So EV is not new. I mean, the EV was there in the 90s also, like 100 years, 125 years, and just many people might not be knowing. EV was market share of the EV was more than the gasoline, correct?
Oh, in the original time.
Original time. So
Yeah,
there was a time when the 30-40% EV was there, but there was a two fundamental challenge was there, correct? So EV was always the first choice when the from steam to transition was happening towards the gasoline, correct? But there was a fundamental challenge about the battery and the infrastructures, correct? The last 15 years, I think Tesla took a very much lead into that, and the battery problem almost gets solved out now. The battery is not an issue at all. The second problem is the infrastructures, correct? So the infrastructure is still a problem into the some part of the area.
Yeah.
But then we have to understand that it is driven by the OE actually. OEMs are they are taking this as a part of their main spirit that everything is evolving about the sustainable products actually. So now they have taken, now they are everything they are manufacturing towards the EV goal. There are certain countries where, especially like example GCC, if you talk about the Kuwait, there is still infrastructure is a problem actually, correct? So I mean the EV is the future, not just because of it's Kuwait or it's Europe. It is the OEM.
Yeah.
OEM has taken it to their center. I mean,
because they're also gearing their production facilities accordingly. Right?
According.
So look, I've seen many people take a laugh and take a dig when you say the statement, quote unquote, that EVs are the future. Do you agree with this or not?
100%. I mean, I don't have any doubt about it. Like the EVs are the future actually.
So on this, I think it's important that you are a much better and more technical guy than I am because of your experience in after sales. People get confused now. There are so many terminologies used across this, right?
Yeah.
EV, HEV, BEV, REV, EREV, PHEV, right? So what do you think is the recommended solution, and what are the subtle differences between those terminologies? Yeah.
So one thing is our end goal is the EV, correct? Then the OEM are adjusting their production of the technology based upon the market requirement, example, correct? So wherever we have a challenge of infra, so then the PHEV and the REV, which you just now mentioned, is like plug-in hybrid, and REV is like range extended EV. So these are the intermediary solution, I would say, till the time the infra get ready over there actually, correct? So for audience to understand the PHEV basically what happened, you have an electric motor and then you have an engine over there. So all your wheels, you can shift the car. So you can drive the car on the EV and you can drive the car on the ICE. So basically there's a switchable actually, correct, based upon the requirement, what is the level of battery charge, what is the terrain over there. So based upon that, car automatically shift between the ICE and the electric EV. REV is basically pure EV, I would say. The only fundamental problem in the EV is the charging problem.
Yeah.
Right? Now if you take the example of Kuwait, there is still no right infrastructure right now available. So how can I ride the EVs over there? So REV is the perfect example. In the REV, what exactly happened? You have an engine and generator who keep charging your battery. So you have to put the fuel, but that fuel will go to the generator. And the generator, whenever you're starting, it charging your batteries. I mean, to be so you're surprised, REV, you don't need to plug or charge batteries even maybe lifetime. If until you are keeping the vehicle idle for like example 2 months or 3 months, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But in the normal course, you don't need to charge the car at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's automatically charging the
batteries over the period of time. So
yeah.
I mean and to be frank, REV for me personally, I mean it is a better fit for the GCC product, GCC market actually. Reason being is, to be fair, I will tell you, once you start driving EV, it's very difficult to
Go back
shift
to ice.
actually.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The reason being is you are comparing the stored energy versus the generation of energy. In the ICE, you are generating the energy and applying it.
Yeah.
In EV, it is the stored energy, correct?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the torque and horsepower
is
is
much-
unmatchable in
Exactly,
the EVs,
yeah.
actually, correct?
The
So
driving experience is just totally different.
totally
right?
different.
Yeah.
So once you start EV, it's very difficult to go back to the ICE.
Right. Correct.
So, but in the PHEV, you will never realize it whether the car is on the ICE or EVs, correct? So you will not get that 100% experience of the EV all the time.
Yeah.
REV example, like you can literally enjoy the
EV experience
all the times.
That's an excellent take on this, right? So but that's very fascinating to know that REV you don't even need to charge for a lifetime if the car is in a working condition. That's
All the time, I think.
So because look, I've seen now many brands promoting REVs, right? Extended range electric vehicles or range extended vehicles like Chery and Exceed. I've seen them entering this domain, and now they're launching a new brand, iCar, on similar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a great take. So because look, the very standard question of anyone who has no clue about how EVs function, for sure they will even ask the question, what about range and what about charging? Right, what I'm hearing from you is there's no need to worry about
No need to worry about it. Especially for PHEV and REV case, you just put the fuel and keep enjoying the EV till the country have the right infrastructures. Once you have a right infrastructure, obviously there's a high speed charging will come, 60 kilowatt charging will come, will charge your car within the 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You finish your coffee and by the time your car will be fully charged actually. And it's a cost effective, the cost of ownership will be low completely. I mean, a periodical maintenance schedule of ICE versus REV is almost 25% compared to the pure EV actually, if I talk about it.
Interesting. So look, this evolution is happening for sure. We understand.
Yeah.
Now we start next section.
Now, which are the brands you think about? We said
अगला section है ना, why Chinese are coming here.
Okay.
Right. 3. So look, that's an interesting perspective when we talk about the role of Chinese, right? Which brands you think are going to lead this evolution? It's number one. And number two is, it hurts me when I still hear people talk negatively about Chinese. So my question to you, especially that you are in after sales, why people still fear Chinese? What's the problem?
I mean, I will answer the first question to you, which are the brands going to lead it over there. I mean, as I mentioned over there, I mean, the Chinese are no more the secondary player. They are the main player actually, correct? Recently, what we heard about the BYD, I mean, they are already crossed the Tesla actually. They are the by far actually, correct? Yeah. Chery is, I mean, I was amazed that the kind of thought they have. They have launched the iCar, which you just now mentioned, is purely dedicated for REV and EV lines, correct? And it's like completely youth product actually, correct? So to my understanding, if I'm, maybe you can help me to recall properly over there, I don't think that kind of range or models are available into the traditional brand any of right now actually. I mean, you might hear a couple of product, Nissan Leaf here and there, but they are limited to the particular European market or the Japanese market, but not across the globe actually.
Exactly, right? So by the way, that's again the same perspective that in the mainstream automotive market globally, other than Tesla, you don't hear anything international.
Exactly.
But when you talk about Chinese, you can take dozens of names and they are leading the space.
They're leading.
And actually, when you see their designs, I think it hurts me personally because I'm associated very closely with multiple Chinese brands that people say that they're copycats. No, I actually see these legacy traditional brands, even American EVs and PHEVs that are coming, they're actually copying Chinese.
100%, absolutely. I will tell you the simple example of infotainment systems, correct?
Yeah.
The screen, the kind of thing, it came from the Chinese. Now all the legacy brands are copying the same kind of design actually. The kind of the edge, the kind of the headlights and all those things. Probably it's making a reverse trend now.
Exactly, right?
I mean, to be honest, if they would have taken the lead, then Chinese would not have would have come so far.
Absolutely correct. I know you're spot on, and I think that's a myth buster for all the audience that no longer shall we perceive Chinese as a second choice or doubt their quality. Right? That's I think we are beyond that stage. Right?
I just wanted to add over there. See, quality. Who tells about the quality? It's the customers. The kind of the growth we have seen into the Chinese product. Why the growth happened? Means consumer is using those products, correct?
Yeah.
And the customer itself is giving the testimonial that the product is good, and that is how you are able to
buy.
capture like people cannot believe that the market share of Chinese is now 30% actually,
right.
correct? So 30% people cannot go wrong in terms of
in
selection
their
of the
purchase.
quality of the product.
Exactly,
actually.
right. Yeah, spot on. So this is, by the way, brings me to another revolution. I would not say even call it transformation or revolution. It's a revolution which Chinese cars have brought, is in terms of their tech features, capabilities. Right. What's your take on that, and what are your favorite features there?
I mean, you will be amazed that when the after sales, before we were having people who are more good into the mechanical.
Yeah.
But now I have to split like the technicians into the 3 categories. Basically, the people who can be mechanically good.
Yeah.
The people who are good in the electricians,
Yeah.
the proper electricians,
Absolutely.
and then might be. Within couple of years, maybe I have to think about the guys who are very well enough into the computer engineering as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, there is one thing I wanted to clarify over here, add it over there. The legacy brand, when they were serving the market, the product was quite a simple product.
And life cycle was long.
Yeah, life cycle product was very simple. So nothing can go wrong in the simple product, correct? Now the products are coming with the feature loaded, as you mentioned about that. Okay, like Chinese have everything in the cars, correct? So when you have everything in the cars, I mean, there can be some issues. So it's not about because of the quality, it is about the complexity of the products. So that's where we have to differentiate the things.
I
is
think
it the quality is a problem, or it is the complexity? So complexity in the car has gone up actually. The kind of ADAS features we have. I mean, there is a sensor working.
Look, I think I would really add my own personal anecdotes and stories here. That it is unbelievable. I have seen customers who have even touched 10,000 and 20,000 kilometers mileage and still discovering features,
100%.
which they actually think is a problem in the car, but it's actually not a problem in the car.
Absolutely. We I would say one customer in a day we face in our after sales, where people see that is a problem in the car, but it is actually a safety enhancement feature in the car.
It's a software.
It's a software actually. Correct.
So what's your favorite feature, or what are your features? Right, it's fully loaded.
I mean, every year I change the features based upon when the Chinese launch the features actually. So I mean, recently, if you see in the Cherry and the Exceed, there's a T-box features. Correct. You can control your car completely for your mobile actually. Correct. I mean, it's like a home appliance. Correct. The smart appliances. Now you can control your car and it's not within the same geography. You can control your car even from a different country.
Exactly.
You can.
Yes.
That's something amazing actually. Correct?
I mean, I would share one real life story last week. One of our customers was in Spain last week, and he has a T-box on his Xlantex.
Wow.
He messaged me that Munib, my car is here, and I'm getting a message that one of the tires is punctured.
Wow.
So he proactively called us in a service that if you can help us, that by the time he comes to Kuwait, his tire is fixed. So see, that's the benefit of a T-box.
That's the benefit. So I'll tell you, the features have not been added just for simply added over there. Every features offer the safety.
And utility.
Exactly. It is a utility. It adds the comfort. I mean, it's changed your experience of driving the car completely. I'll tell you the soft touch, correct? I mean, if the traditionally correct, you have to banging the door all the time. Make sure that the moment you start, then the headlight or the
door open warning
sign will come. Okay, then you have to stop the car, and the soft touch will make sure that it's a safety for your kids, because maybe the kids is sitting on the back side, correct?
And see, that's where we were talking about the revolution which the Chinese cars have brought. Look, a soft touch probably may have been at a super expensive luxury car. Now it's available on our Chinese products as a standard feature, right?
So in the infotainment systems, if you see, I mean, when you sit into the car, probably you will feel you are sitting in the home theater kind of things. I mean,
it is actually becoming a home theater now, right in the back end.
Tell you the example of Exceed VX, they have almost 14-inch
screens, 14-inch screen. It's your home theater, right?
Home theater.
You have a joystick, you can play the games
on that kind. So I mean, Chinese are taking off every consumer demand actually, to be frank, and that is the only reason they are the number one, or they are getting into the number one directions very soon actually.
Absolutely. So next section,
Okay.
अब मैं 3 करूँगा फिर हम start करेंगे. Look, we have touched upon this here and there, and I would love the audience to know that Dhanesh is an expert in after sales, and which is why your presence here is so important for me personally, because the negative perception we have heard about Chinese is is heartbreaking, right? Because it's far from reality, it's far from truth, but that perception is not moving away, right? So that's why we would need your expertise to help the people understand, help the audience understand that this is actually not correct, right? So what has been your experience in after sales in general, and how do you think that's important for Chinese brands right now?
See, first of all, I'm not that expert, but I'm still learning over there now, because the kind of to be frank, it's very difficult to say expert nowadays, because every day you find something new, actually. Correct. I got connected in the Chinese since 2021. Initially when the brand comes, we also thought about it. These might be the issues, or the quality issue would be there. But one thing, when I started in 2021, the first thing the Chery launched is the 1 million kilometer engine warranty. They have that kind of confidence into their product. No OEM can take a risk of offering a 1 million engine kilometer warranty if they don't have a confidence into their product. Secondly, the lifetime warranty. The lifetime warranty, somewhat like Chery this year they have launched international lifetime warranty. It's not from the selection of the part, like the entire car, they are so confident about that that nothing would happen for a larger period of the time.
And anywhere in the world, right?
Anywhere in the world, actually. So it's just not about the first owner. Even if you sell the car, the benefit goes to the second owner of the car, actually. So it's about the life cycle, and so they are so confident about it. So it's completely myth only that there's an issue into the product.
Into your products. And I think, but on similar token, many customers probably doubt, or audience doubts, that their parts are not available. Any take on that? Because I have never personally experienced this problem, but when you hear people, oh, the Chinese cars, they don't have parts.
That problem was initially there, probably. I would say 2 years back period of time. You have to be fair with when you compare the things also. Legacy brands are there in this market from the last 100 years, correct? They had an ample of opportunity, and we have not seen the hardship they faced initially into setting up the ground, correct? Chinese, I'm sure they themselves never anticipated that they will have this much of demand.
Exponential growth.
Correct. Also, and this exponential growth not came from their side. I would say it is more like a pull, because you cannot push a product for a certain period. You can push a product for 1 time, 2 times, but really demand comes when consumers start trusting the product, believing the product. So parts availability, I would say it's just a matter of couple of years of time. Most of the Chinese OEM are setting up the PDC into any of the hub, whether it is Saudi Arabia, whether it is UAE. So supply chain, it takes time, correct? Because supply chain on ground, you have to establish everything. So it's not a problem, which is a problem actually, this is the problem which you can easily solve the moment you say the supply chain got fixed, and that will be sooner or later it will be finished.
Got it. So in after sales, what is the biggest lesson you have learned in making customers happy?
See, Munib, what I felt over there, like as I mentioned, I'm not typically kind of come from a mechanical kind of background. I come from finance background. Probably one thing I realize over the period in the after sale is how your customer feel about it. I will give the simple example of the hospital, correct? When you are already sick, you are already difficult, your mind is already stressed, correct? You choose the hospital where you get the convenience, correct? It's just not about the doctor. It's about everybody over there. The nurse, whether the hospital is hygiene, how it's everything, correct? So
it's a whole experience.
Yeah, right? Correct. So the hospitals try to make sure that they make you feel good about it. They try to give you all this facility, not just because they wanted to add the luxury. It is about to distract you, correct? They don't want you to give the pain on that of that.
Of already the stress which is
already mind, there, right? Correct. So similarly, I would suggest everyone to have that the same mentality. It's not about fixing the car. Our focus should be more about how my customer is feeling about that. So, majority of the time we think about, okay, let's fix the car. I would say how my customer is right now. What is his mindset right now?
But this sounds more like an employee problem than a customer problem. Right? Like how do you have to train your employees actually?
Exactly. You are absolutely spot on, because after sales is all about the people's, correct? Because every touch point is involved, like some of my people over there, correct? So that's where the focus should come into the after sales. Car will be fixed, no doubt about it, because OEM has manufactured, he has given you all the tools. To solve the car.
And the promises, right?
Correct. So it's more for us. It is more about how to handle the customers. Correct. How do we feel him good about it? What kind of assurance we can give him? What kind of acknowledgement we can give him? And it's more about the communication. Customer need only the transparency and the trust actually. If you can build your after sales on the trust, on the transparency which comes from your people actually, correct. So if you can train your people in such a way that everybody speak the same language, I mean, that's sorted
that
out.
will solve the problem automatically.
Solve the problem.
So look, when you talk about employees, I don't know, my brain or mind automatically goes towards technology.
Yeah.
So because now there's so much buzzwords around technology, AI and chatbots, etc. So what's your take on technology piece in customer service, and how do you think this space will evolve?
I mean, technology will help us. It will empower the people. I would personally feel like that. I mean, let's take the example of simple artificial intelligence, correct? All the chatbot, correct? They are just not giving you into the like rule-based answer. Now they are giving you the emotionally. They can understand the stress of the customers, correct?
Yeah.
They can be substitute of your front line, actually, to be frank, over the period of time. So at this stage, I think we have to make the customer experience consistent. We have to adopt the AI chatbot, which not only that, about first of all, they can emotionally handle the customer.
Yeah.
If you allow them to integrate your systems, they can read the history of the customers, when the customer visited last time, what he done it. So without what as a human being, I think they can offer more than that, because we have our limitations, correct? We are busy, we can work into 8 to 5 hours. Customer is like now 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sitting. You can do a chatbot with your connection as a live agent who will read the history from the system and will feed the customer. It will give him the real-time experience over that.
You know, this reminds me, recently one of the brands, Cherry, I tested their chatbot which they have live. I mean, you are right. The experience is as if there's a human talking to you. It's a chatbot, and it's customizing the answers as per your responses, right?
Correct,
that's a good experience.
So I think that's where the technology become a center of the part where the routine jobs can be handled by the chatbot, and your people will be still in the center, correct? In terms to handle how do we govern the entire process over there. So they can focus more into the core part, and then all the admin related stuff or the basic stuffs can be transferred to the technology part.
So, but you see, interesting, then this takes me on the technology piece and connecting it to humans. So you mentioned probably you're gonna transform your technicians into 3 parts, right? The basic part, mechanicals, computer engineers. So what do you think should be your basic level of AI skill set at a workplace right now?
I mean, it's different upon the kind of level you are actually in your organizations, correct? To be frank, you have to be more human. I mean, the God has given the lot of computing power, correct? Yeah. And the AI should utilize to reduce our elimination of the mundane tasks. Correct? Yeah. And everyone, example, I would tell you, basic example, correct? In the technician, he has to go to the catalog and look around how the map looks like around it. If you can integrate the AI chatbot into the searching engine, he can just speak. Yes. And then it can read the manual and can answer you back. That's amazing. Yeah. And then secondly, the technician comes with the different languages, correct? Nobody are English speaking those things. So they can speak into the same language, and the chatbot can go to the OEM manuals, find the problems and give you the solution. So he can be your personal instructor. He can be a personal technical advisor for you. Amazing. Yeah. So that's at the AI at the technician level, correct? Okay. Then you go to the advisor level, correct? You can ask the customer like when he was there, what was his problem, what was the complaint. So correct. So he can give you the complete history. This was the experience of that customer. So your service advisor fully prepared before talking to the customer. Before talking to the customer. So I mean, it's insane right now. To be totally, it's insane the kind of technology can do. We can implement it, right? Yeah, correct. How can?
So look, it has been wonderful listening to you, and I would love that we continue this conversation on a longer basis. But look, so that's why I would just ask you, what do you think is the role of technology in the future evolution of automotive industry? Where do you think this is heading?
I think probably by 2035, if I'm not so wrong, the autonomous vehicle, correct? The autonomous vehicle would be where probably we are heading over there. Right now, if every driver, I think almost spend 1 to 2 hours, depending upon the traffic of the city, correct? We are wasting that hours. Autonomous vehicle completely changed that thing. I mean, the cars will be your buddy. Yeah. You can work in the car. They will take you to the office. They maybe you can, instead of managing the 3 cars at home, you can manage with the 1 car, because that car can drop you, can go home, drop your kids, can come back to your office directly, correct? Yeah. It can take a notes when you're talking to the phone. The car can take a note and can tell you, like if you're missing something, it will remind you that today you have to go here. Yeah. I mean, it can sort it out your itinerary. I mean,
Yeah.
on the day. You
I
don't
mean, this really, I will share one story now. I mean, very soon Exceed in Middle East would be launching a feature. It's called valet service.
Yeah.
Imagine the time we waste whenever we go
Finding
to our head
the
office
parking.
trying to find the parking. You just leave your car and it will find a parking for
Yeah.
you autonomously, right?
And
Correct.
Munib, I tasted this in-hand experience when I was in the China. Actually,
Yeah.
the autonomous is it's not very far. I'm
Well,
telling you,
you're
in the
yeah.
2030 or probably 2035, it will be
Just to
part
be
of
safe,
our
I
life,
guess.
and we will not never realize it actually. So that's how, I mean, a lot of things are happening in the automotive. Yeah.
That's look, Dhanesh, it was wonderful to have you here and listen to your experiences and advices and perspectives, and hopefully we will be seeing you again, and good luck in your career, right? And professional journey.
Yeah. Thank you so much for Munib having you here. I think you are doing. I think it's a great platform of the Autocast, and because it will be help our audience, other people who are auto enthusiasts. What are the selections? So I think it's a great platform you are providing to the audience into this.
I think that's the whole objective. We need to bring authenticity from the guests who are speaking because they are coming from automotive,
Yeah,
right? So
thank you so much.
hopefully,
Yeah,
thank you,
hopefully,
Dhanesh,
yes.
and thank you everyone, and looking forward to seeing you in our next episodes. Thank you.